I'm going to do a reading for the air signs. It's going to be a tarot reading followed up by an astrological analysis for this Pisces full moon we just had last night, less than 24 hours ago. I was sitting out in the wind earlier to get ready for this one. So let's see what comes to me here. Now I'm going to do a reading with this Woodward Tarot deck here today. I'm going to do a 9-card spread with a bottom card and a cut card to help give us some information here. If it resonates, that's good. If it doesn't resonate, it's just words. All meanings can only be inferred by the symbology that we take from the world around us and our experiences in it. I have a Gemini moon. I'm feeling tired. Pisces, the water sign, mutable water, squares Gemini, informed by the spirit of Aquarius. And it's transformed in Libra. So these are the three dynamics which will be informing this reading. Subtly, or not so subtly for some of us. All right. We got a card. Ooh, we got two. So I'm going to lay the cards out first. Then I'm going to just kind of look it over, see what comes to me, and then we'll break it down. This one's coming out differently than all the other elemental readings thus far. The spirit is different. Now I know why. Oh, this is pretty powerful. Trials and tribulations that bring spirit to form, and cats to the window as well. Brings respect from others, allows us to settle into this instinctual nature we have so that we can do things in this world without investing too deeply. This brings camaraderie with others who feel the same way and allows us to communicate from the heart on matters that are of importance. We flow down this river of life, we carry our struggles with us, and we settle on building foundations. In this process, we learn our emotional flows to trying to settle into the feeling through developing our passion and deciding on paths, how to rejoice in the nostalgia of what once was for what could be, developing the strength and closing out the world by climbing the world tree. All right, so that was just a quick rundown, but let's break into it. So the first card here, 9 of Bows. This is respect. I wish my camera would focus here. This dude's looking a little strung out. He's looking a little high strung. He's been in the woods a little too long. He's become feral. He's growing horns. He probably has fleas. But he also has skills, ability, and instincts, and he has fortitude. He's developed a spirit that other people notice, that other people can revere and respect in relation to what it is this person puts their mind to. Now, in life, we go through these struggles, we go through these dynamics, and we overcome the wildness, the chaos of nature in this world, and we settle into developing strengths. And with those strengths comes skill that we can utilize in this world for ourselves and for others. And that becomes a source of reverence for other people, and it helps to develop our persona, the ego from which we express in this world. The ego is highly relational. Epigenetics. A lot of it is handed down, but it is in relation to those things which pull at our passions, cultivate the spirit of our fire. In this process, we find our ability. We've got the King of Stones, this is the King of Pentacles, and it's the Wolf. Even in the cold, harsh climates of this world, sometimes there's no fire outside of ourselves. We have to cultivate it for ourselves and carry it forward. And in that we settle into our strengths. And our strengths become our foundation. And we roam the world bringing our foundation with us, our abilities. But deep down there's always these emotional pulls. There's these things that are in the deep feelings which fuel us and give us this power. And to deny the wound is to deny our strengths. So much of our wounds, much of our strengths are the protection mechanisms with which we use to hold that fire and keep it safe and protected within us. It can be a lonely process, but it can also be very powerful. Next, we have the 8 of Bows, the hearth fire. So this can be communication. It's the 8 of Wands in the standard tarot weight deck. See a bunch of people huddled around a fire, telling stories, telling plans, speaking of their passions, sharing drink, sharing a good time, sharing camaraderie, communication. When we find things that are passionate for us, when we work to create things and cultivate external icon for the fires and the value we hold within ourselves, we can all respect that, honor that, and we can all find camaraderie around that. Kindred spirits. So it could be an understanding you're coming to through the trials and tribulations which have cultivated your spirit, given you strength to stand alone when you needed to, and the ability to come together in spirit when you find those kindred souls. Maybe you're able to communicate what it is that's on your heart. Even though you can't touch the emotional depths without divulging the wound, you can share in the cultivation and all the good that comes through that process. That leads us to the Knight of Vessels, the eel here. And this is the Knight of Cups. So you see this eel gently gliding down the river here. And we've got these stones, and one of the stones has a sword etched in it. That's foundations of struggle, strife, and intellect. The strength of the mind which we develop through the emotional flows of life, and we learn how to read the flows with time. Sometimes we struggle through the flows because we're trapped in these loops where emotionality is tied to mental loops, and the mental loops hold us in our strengths, in expectations, in relation to what it is we do in this world and who it is we're with, what affiliations we hold. Well, the eel reminds us that we can tune into our feelings, follow what it is that's in the heart. When you can find what that is, the purity of it will bring you to a clarity of mind, and the faithful servant will bring you forward, no matter what obstacles may appear. And it isn't easy. Brings us into the mind games, the head games, the 8 of arrows. This is the 8 of swords, and the Rider-Waite. Now she's dropped a bunch of arrows here. She's holding this stick here, trying to make it through the wind and the snow. It's a struggle, you know. That's the card. But she holds the light. That represents her fire, the purity of what she feels and knows to be true, knowing that she's already developed struggles through her passionate pursuits and understands the power within. You may not know where you're going or how to get there, but you know what you can do, and you know what you've accomplished in this world, and that's enough to carry you through. It doesn't rain or snow every day. And she knows where she's heading. It's to the 10 of Stones. This is the 10 of Pentacles. This is the home. This is the heritage of human spirit in physical form. The sensual dynamics. You can see there's a man and a woman etched on the archway of these stones. Now it's the alchemical wedding. We have it... it's always with ourselves, but sometimes it's through a partner, sometimes it's through a world, and it's in these pursuits that we bring heaven to earth, and we find this home. We cultivate it. So this is quite abundant when we follow what it is which drives us, which pulls us through our feeling state. And that brings us to the seer, and this is the High Priestess, number 2. In this deck, you know, you can see she's holding a staff. She's got a pouch full of her magic potions, her powders, herbs. She's got this still pool of water in front of her. She's standing firmly on the earth, and she has this living entity behind her, this massive tree. She's got the fur of her animalistic nature draped over her shoulders. She didn't abandon it, but she no longer is possessed by it. She just wears it as a reminder of the sensual nature of life, which helps us to develop who it is we are in this world. So when you follow the stream here, you can see that through the struggles, through the strengths, the cultivation, the passion, the loneliness, and through the foundation of the self, where we're bringing our awareness into being through living life, we can tap into these feelings for the intuitive flows to show us a way. That leads us to the 2 of Bows here. This is decision. This is the 2 of Wands. Now this person, they climbed to the top of the mountain. There's nothing left but the stars, the imagination, the potential. They hold the passion in both hands. Sometimes we become possessed by our passions, and we lose ourselves in the journey. We don't realize what it is we're doing until we get to a point where we can no longer ascend. Then we just, we burn in desire for something that we have not named. And this man here, standing above the imagination, tapping into the heavens, there's nothing else for him to reflect but the gods, the stars above. When you've tapped into this, into the high priestess, then the authenticity of your passion can be handled and given to the right person or the right pursuit in this world. And that leads us to the Six of Vessels reunion. So possibly you're cultivating the nostalgia of the purity of your youth, the child within. Maybe it is the feelings you felt when you were first indoctrinated, initiated into the emotional flows of life. Maybe a past life lover, maybe an old lover, maybe a new lover, maybe old friends, maybe kindred spirits and soul tribe is what you're bringing into your existence now. Maybe you're following this stream by following your heart, your own feeling, intuitive nature. Maybe it's bringing you here to the headwaters of the self and the purity of the Six of Cups. This is Six of Vessels. So it's a reunion with yourself through the world around you, through the people and the experiences, and the understanding of your own cultivation as a here-now thing rather than something in the future that might be. Now on the bottom of the deck we had the Stag, and this is strength in this deck. You can see the Tree of Life and the Drum of Life in the hand, and there's a golden axe in the right hand. Actually, that's the left. This card is backwards. But this guy's wearing a stag head. Could be a woman, I don't know. Either way, strength is within all of us, and it is the heritage of the cultivation of your human spirit and the pursuit of what it is which pulls at you in this world that helps you develop and cultivate this strength. And in the processes of life, we are unaware of our strengths because we get wrapped up in outcomes and expectations and the experiences, and we forget that we ourselves have this unique expression of life that we're bringing to life through our actions. The destination, it overwhelms our senses, but it is the here now and the process which actually is the gift. Yesterday's a mystery, or yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And that's bringing us to 21, the World Tree. And this is the World card. So this is the fixed signs. This is spirit form. It is the wisdom of your pursuits, of your life, of your story. And it isn't the end, but a new beginning. It's an evolution. It is, you are rewriting, cultivating the mythologies of your life. Your psyche is expressing in new ways. Because of this journey of life you've been on, now you can see what cycles and what stories and what dynamics are no longer in resonance with you, and you flow forward into the new expression. So it's like the wind through the tree here. Very good reading. All right. Now let's get into the chart real quick. So, we're just going to read the chart for the air signs. This chart is set for my location, Wherever you are in the world, you could look at where the full moon lined up, what houses. That could be an indicator, a subtle indicator for you. But the dynamics are key. It's a micro to macro thing for most of us. The world happens, but we have to happen as well. We either react or we respond. When we act, the world will either react or respond. So I'm going to start with the mutable air in Gemini here. And then we will reach over to Libra, and then we will finish out in Aquarius. But first, let's just look at the chart real quick. We got the full moon here. Sun opposing the moon. The moon has a balsamic phase conjunction with Saturn. Balsamic phase conjunction is an ending of a cycle. It is a realization of our emotional authority. And when Saturn's retrograde, it can be a realization of that through dynamics of the world and the people and the situations around us. It can also be through the epiphanies, the synchronicities of life. It can be from our emotional flows, and it can be from the things that we had repressed that we now have the ability, the language, the fortitude to face and digest and bring into our awareness as a service to the self. We also have Black Moon Lilith here coming into a balsamic phase conjunction with the Sun. Now, Black Moon Lilith represents the repressed feminine. It is the anima. It is what we hold back, the taboos, the beliefs that we hold because other people can't handle them, and often we can't handle that ourselves. So it is a realization of our power coming into union with radical acceptance in a way. And through that radical acceptance, we are able to honor ourselves and serve ourselves at a higher expression. And when we can find that within ourselves, we reciprocate that with the world. Now the nodes. We have the North Node in Aries, South Node Libra. Mars just crossed over the Libra point, opposing Neptune. The realization, the bringing spirit to form in relation to others in this world, because we're relating to ourselves in a new way, and it's a growing process with Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde here. Actually, we've got all these retrograde planets. It's a retro fest over here. So Mars is about the individual, and here we've got Chiron and Aries. So we are healing the wounded mind, healing the wounded self, healing the persona, allowing the false ego games to fall away so that an authentic expression of ourself can be held without burning ourselves or the world down. In reflection to the most authentic, the stars, the heavens, or the child within the purity of the self. Now we also have Venus here. She's stationing direct in 2 days, I believe. Then she'll be on the shadow path, and she's squaring Jupiter. So it's a realization of the values that we've repressed and the love that we've withheld from ourselves and others because we couldn't compromise in a balanced way. We had these unbalanced power dynamics in play. And we had to cultivate our values through the struggles of life so that other people could respect it, so that we could protect ourselves and build our strength, our legacy, our abilities in this world. And that's part of the cultivation of our processes. Now she will be in a conjunction with Juno here, and that's that alchemical wedding here with the self through another or through the world, and oftentimes it's through finding a pursuit which honors you and allows you to be your most authentic expression, having fun in a way that does not harm yourself or other people. Loving yourself is loving another, and you can show that here now. Let's start with Gemini now. We have Vesta in Gemini, which is a Virgoan archetype. It's the Vestal Virgin. It's the fire of our passion, which we protect and cultivate and nurture, and we only share that with a select few people. Only a select few can see it. And there is a trine with the south node, sextile with the north node here. So past relationships may rise up, past people, past life dynamics. It can also be that we are doing past dynamics in a new way, which honors our fire, honors our heritage, the cultivation of ourselves, which brings a gift to us, the harvest of Ceres here, when we're able to honor this fire within us and carry it forward in the most authentic way we can. And when we're able to embrace a new expression of ourself and see ourselves in a new way, not in relation to the judgment of others, but that which feels right and most honest to us, then we nurture that fire. And we can feed that into an honest expression which benefits us and fulfills us. Now there's a square here with Pallas Athena. We've got Mercury retrograde, new phase conjunction with Pallas Athena, higher wisdom, intellect. This is the perception of our power through what it is that drives us, what it is we feel at our core to be most high within us, that which we want to cultivate in this world. And it opposes Neptune here. And Neptune, the imagination, the ruler of this full moon, also squaring Vesta. So it is rekindling the imagination from a place of the inner child. Before the world programmed us, through our mistakes, through the consequences, knowing that every mistake is an opportunity to gain wisdom, and the wisdom is brought to life through expressing your knowledge through that experience in new ways, pushing forward into relational dynamics with this world and with others, is coming into union with yourself and realizing your own abilities, your own unique expression. And it's found in that contrast divide. Now Libra here. Mars just entered Libra. South nodes in Libra. Libra is the spirit of Scorpio. And with Mars here in Libra, we now have the ability to stand in the power of our convictions, knowing the wounded warrior dynamics, knowing what we've been through and how we've dealt with it, what we've cultivated, and understanding that we can infer other people are going through their own things, and some people have gone through them and some people are in the process. We don't need to take from another to hold our strength and to be honorable. We just need to honor the balance within ourselves, to honor ourselves, our own convictions, knowing that the golden rule is reciprocity. And if other people, they can't accept that or hold that or understand that, that is their process. That's something that they need to deal with, not us. It gives us the ability to bridge the gaps with others because we're finding the language within ourselves to bring it forward in new ways. We also have the heritage here of Ceres in the South Node. So doing you in a new way, doing your relational dynamics from a more wizened vantage point, understanding what you've been through, what you've transmuted, what you're bringing to existence in Scorpio here, through the emotional depths that you're clearing the way for. Now this is a working quincunx, opening in conjunction with Saturn and Mars. So we're working through the authority of our emotional dynamics with a new surge of Martian energy. Understanding reciprocity is found within and it's reflected without. And we read the symbology of our dynamics, our experiences with others and with this world as our progress, where we're at. And when we can stop and realize what's happening to us in real time, or when we get those moments where we can sit back and assess, then we understand life is the cultivation. Mistakes are statics in an ever-flowing dynamic. We can always overcome them and rewrite them into new meanings. And time is of the essence for that. We've got Mars in the Saturnian decan, Saturn in the Venusian decan. Venus has been retrograde, your ruler. So Venus is going direct here in a few days. And as she enters and leaves the shadow path, realizations will emerge, just as Mercury here. As Mercury finishes retrograde and heads back through the shadow path, epiphanies arise, the language is found, the flows of life can be intuited, and our relational dynamics and the symbology of life can lead the way when we're settled in, finding the balance within ourselves. Now with this transformative quincunx in Taurus, the other Venusian sign, the south node of Chiron is at 2 degrees Taurus. So honoring your wounds of self-value, knowing that it doesn't happen overnight, and there's many ways to do it, and the best way I feel is just through living life and trying to push yourself when you have the bandwidth to face your fears, face your emotional hang-ups. You develop this newfound strength, this Martian ability. Now Jupiter here is expanding our awareness of value, which we've been cultivating, digesting, dropping, releasing to find that purity of the inner child here. And we have Uranus, Prometheus, bringing this torch to bear for Mercury, the mind. Uranus in that reaching trine with Pluto. We're digesting what once was, the expectations of the past, and we're doing that in a new way through newfound value. Now Aquarius here, Uranus and Taurus. Aquarius opposes Leo where this Venus retrograde happened. And it is the working, or actually the final transformation of Aquarius in Virgo. So it is through the higher mind, the star, pouring the waters of the stars, the heavens, through our emotional flows and what we glean from that in the mind, which we bring spirit into this world. That's what informs Saturn. When Saturn starts to break down all the traditions, all the what has been becomes relevant to a past age, to past fading dynamics, we no longer carry that same spark. We no longer carry that gravity, and we're reinformed through this Uranian field, through this changing in the values. And we carry that forward here. And we, through that process, we find the service to the self by breaking free from what had restricted us, and doing so in a way which is not in spite of another, but for the cultivation of them. By standing in your strength and doing what is right for you, you show them how to do it for themselves. Now Aquarius informs Pisces. So it is a lot of this is a cultivation through life. I'm speaking to all the air signs here, but I'm focusing on Aquarius. Through life, we've gone through all these experiences, and we digest our emotions through following the desires and realizing our emotional hang-ups, the fears, the guilt, the shame, the shoulda, coulda, woulda, all these different blocks which rise up through past dynamics. And we individuate by overcoming them, and it's not an easy process, but it's the cultivation of the fire within yourself, which is the polarity. How do you hold the fire without burning yourself or the world down? You reflect your authentic nature. Because you need to be an individual to come into union, essentially. Otherwise, there is no such thing as union. That's what the world's finding out. Now we have the North Node here in Aries. Aquarius is the spirit which fuels this new creative expression of being. And it's one that honors your authentic nature. It's not something you sit down and you script out. It is just by following your own heartfelt, intuitive flows, which brings you into that expression so you can pioneer that into this world and bring it into true value in Taurus. Aries, the spirit of Taurus. Now you're trining Gemini in this Vestal energies, and you're trining Libra with the Martian series in the South Node. So doing you in new ways. Forget who you think you are and become who you might be. And when you do that for yourself, you do that for others. Now quickly back to Gemini here. I forgot Mercury retrograde. The ruler of Gemini, ruler of Virgo. So when Mercury's retrograde, we're getting a reframing of old loops, old dynamics, or we're seeing them in new ways. And a lot of times that comes from the emotions. Most people I know that are highly mental, we call it intelligence, but it's just a propensity to think. It's because of our emotional wounds deep within us. And that forces us into the mind to protect the heart, protect what it is that wounded us. And it keeps the wound alive. But the wound helps to cultivate us and helps us to develop this strength. Helps us to develop our fortitude through the jungles of life and find the value, true value. That's the cultivation here with the sextile, the opposition to Leo. Now this breakdown was a little bit scattered. I'm kind of tired, but I hope you were able to get some meaning out of it. If you ever are interested in a reading, there's a link in the description. But other than that, thanks for watching, listening, and being.